Alright guys, so I'm going to put 5 minutes on the clock for you to copy your objective.
Let's put somewhere else. Let's put somewhere else.
You may.
I got it.
Sit up here. Alright, so 5 minutes on the clock.
In the whole wide
central.
So if you would maybe can you sit just with the stool, this first stool.
Where at?
Sit with Deshaun. Or Naomi.
Too bad now. Too late.
Get your notebook out, copy your objective.
Woo! So hot and hurt.
Man, honestly, alright.
That's the whole
We'll have a minute.
So you're 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 1. Okay. 2. Jimmy's your 1. Jimmy, your 1? Yeah. Okay, so you're 5. Okay, so we'll figure it out. There's some things that you'll be able to. They did it before, so you can go back there. If this is new.
Alright guys, so take 2 more minutes. And we will go over the do now.
So what's next? Well, the variations number. Remember the example that we went over? Yeah.
So go, guys, you can use your notes to go back to the examples that we've discussed. That's going to help you answer the second part of the do now.
What did you guys? What are the examples?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so write that. Perfect. Bigger draws.
Draws. What?
Yeah, no, that is one.
You keep And then
Yeah.
next gen.
Well, yeah,
I'm over here right there.
I'm over here, right? But that was a theory.
Over.
Okay, so the physical of that? Okay, yeah, definitely. So not stretching, right? But what we said before, adapt. All right, guys. So let's go over the do now. Your objective for today, ladies, your objective for today is by the end of the class, you'll be able to explain how symbiotic relationships can increase the chances of survival of organisms. Does anyone know what symbiotic means?
It's like say, it's like an animal. I know the animal.
Yeah.
I know an example like the rhino and the it's an animal that's on top of the
For
rhino.
example,
Oh,
the
that
bird.
Yeah, that eats the stuff off its back.
Right, so that's a type of relationship that we're going to be talking about. So there are three types of symbiotic relationships that we're going to be discussing: mutualism, commensalism, and parasitism. So you guys are going to know what these mean by the end of class. Your do now was to write examples of physical adaptations that have increased an organism's chances for survival. So we have talked about this in our past unit. So what are some examples, Jimmy?
The birds like beaks.
The beaks. Okay, and what did the beaks do?
They adapted by like some birds will like mate with birds with smaller or bigger beaks.
Okay.
So the baby birds can like survive.
Right, so depending on the environment. Ricardo? Okay, so like Jimmy said, the giraffes, the longer necks are gonna obviously mate with the ones with the longer necks. The wings, what do you mean by wings? You're thinking homologous stuff? Alright, so we'll get to that, but we're talking more about like the beaks, the actual physical things. So the beaks and jaguars. What? Exactly. You guys remember the jaws?
Yeah.
What about the jaws?
Like the bigger ones,
Bigger.
like turtles.
Right. When the drought occurred, the bigger jaws provided an advantage. So the mates, do they look to the genotype or the phenotype? Pheno. So that's your physical characteristics. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is how may behavior play a role in increasing an organism's survival. Do you think this is possible? Like, what do you think about this? It's possible? Abdul?
By being more alert.
Okay. So being aware of the organisms. Yeah. Talk about relationships in nature. How is relationships and interacting with behavior? So how may that play a role?
Mating?
So like a food chain.
Okay, so a food chain. So some things are, okay, so the food chain is definitely involved. What did you say, Yasmin?
Mating?
Mating, okay, yeah. Alright, so this is what we are going to be talking about today. So behavior as well as the physical looks play a role in increasing an organism's survival. So the beaks, the jaguars in a drought allowed the organisms to mate with larger jawed animals to survive to eat reptiles. And now behavior is a large role as well. So what I'm going to do, yes, Alanis, can you turn out one light just because we're going to be writing some things? What? No, you can say it.
Oh my god, yeah, speak the last off.
So this is going to be your notes, guys. The sheets that I passed out is the activity that we're going to be doing after this PowerPoint slide. It's actually not PowerPoint, but I did not. Alright, so they're around.
The mics in our eyebrows.
Yes, well, we're going to be learning about that actually.
So they're in our eyebrows.
Yes.
So what is this? What is this shape?
Triangle.
A triangle.
Can I turn around both of them?
Yeah, turn out both because it may be better to see. That's better, that is better.
Oh, yes, sir.
So what is this shape? A triangle, you said? So what could this be? A beak? A shark? That's a dolphin. A dolphin.
The dorsal fin.
Okay. So where could this possibly be?
The ocean.
The ocean.
A
Where
shark.
else?
The sky.
The sky. Okay. Any other thoughts?
Geometry.
In geometry. So what is this?
I'm out.
Eel. What is that?
A ray fish.
Stingray.
Okay, could be a stingray.
Yeah.
What else?
What is
It
that?
looks like that kind of fish. Horseshoe crab.
Squid, a horseshoe crab. What about the background?
It looks like a cloud.
Sand.
That's on the side of a shark.
Okay, so it could be sand, could be the side of a shark.
Oh, it is a shark. Oh, yeah, it's a little thing that swims next to the bottom of it.
So where could this be?
This could be mommy and
In the ocean on the side of a shark.
Alright, so what is the possible relationship between this photo clip
No.
and the other one?
That thing cleans stuff off the shark.
Okay, so that's a good start.
Isn't that kind of like a bottom?
I told you.
I was right.
Yes.
I told you.
Okay, so what this is a shark and this is called a remora. It's like a fish. So what this is a picture of is a mutualism symbiotic relationship.
So the shark won't eat it?
So the shark is not going to eat this. Okay, so this is your first thing that you guys are going to write down, is mutualism.
They have a mutual understanding.
Exactly. It's sort of a mutual understanding.
It's like dog and
Is it like how the...
It's a mutual understanding. The remora fish, cleans off, so the shark eats, we all eat. And when we eat, there's some remaining parasites and bacteria for us. Right, we brush our teeth, exactly. So the remora, this fish, sort of swims along this shark and eats like the parasites that are sort of remaining. So what is the remora getting?
It gets the stuff that it cleans.
The nutrients from the...
Yeah, so it's eating the bacteria, so that's its food source. How is this benefiting the shark? If it's eating the parasites from the... It's cleaning, and you talked about it with Ms. Pearson. What could a parasite do to you? Kill you. So what scientists say is that it also could be, well, I won't go into that yet, but mutualism is basically these two organisms are not, they're benefiting from one another. So this is a really, you should write this down, benefit. Survival, okay? So each organism is providing something to one another and it's benefiting them and it's for their survival. Okay? So we talked about the physical adaptations, but this is the first relationship in the environment that we're discussing, that they're interacting, two different species, totally different species, they're interacting and they are benefiting each other's survival. It just happens, it's a mutual understanding, sort of unbeknownst to one another. The shark doesn't really know, but we know, right? The fish is just like, okay, I'm eating what I'm eating. But they don't really know, it's just we know now. So it is interesting how these organisms within these different ecosystems...
So he doesn't know he's on there? Like...
Well, he does know, but like, oh, I mean, I shouldn't really speak for the shark.
So if the shark dies, does that animal die too? That organism?
No, doesn't it just move to another shark?
It could move to another shark, and then we can move, maybe, what may happen if there's... Right, so what are some terms that they may reach? Right, so we're going to talk about, you know.
So wait, I have a question.
So if they don't have the food to eat off of, what may that be? A term we talked about? Limiting factor. So
If you know sharks, they usually eat whatever is in front of them or near them. So
Yeah.
how come that thing doesn't get eaten?
it's just a, you know, maybe that is a good point, because maybe they do know that it's just benefiting them, so they don't eat it. So it's just a mutual understanding, like Don just said. Like a mutual understanding
Or
is just
maybe
happening.
Sharks
It doesn't know it's there.
Could be, doesn't know it's
Can't
there.
Don't eat them up.
No, it makes it in this
You're right.
After they eat
You
them,
know how
they realize
how
it was a
when you
person.
drive next to trucks, and they have like no
Perfect,
yeah, the
The
round
person-
and all that, maybe
And
they
after they eat
That
the
is a
person,
good point.
they realize it was a person.
What?
Doesn't it go in his mouth?
Yeah,
I just already
so
said
that's a good point. It does know
Oh,
it's there, it
there you
knows
go.
that it's benefiting him, and then,
Yeah.
it's alright. So, he's turn on the light for a second. So that's mutualism.
They have vegetarian
So that's
sharks.
mutualism. Very simple concept. The way to remember it, mutualism is mutual understanding. right? You're benefiting one another.
Miss Donder asked if there's vegetarian
Like
sharks,
sharks
and
that
I
don't
said
eat.
no. Maybe they have like different teeth structures.
So what would that be? Would that be a physical or behavioral adaptation?
Physical.
Physical.
Physical. So it could be, I don't know. I would have to get back to you on that one. Yeah, so you're right. So Kenny says there's different sharks that have different types of teeth. Right, so like the different fronts. Alright, so what I want you guys to do is to open up to get a textbook. Grab a textbook. I want you to open up to page 406 and 408.
But hammerheads beat you to death.
With the what?
A hammerhead shark beats you to death.
For real? With his head though? Oh, I thought
Do it on grandma?
no, actually grab one and grab one.
You know sharks can go back.
Hey, bro.
This is a decrease in books.
Alright, so the numbers and the worksheets that I gave to you is what we're going to do now. The number ones, guys, listen up to the directions. Number ones, you guys are going to be looking through the textbook and you are going to be reading commensalism. Number twos, you're going to be doing parasitism. They lie within these pages. Each box for each person, you guys are going to have minimum 3 points. I'll tell you what it is. The 2 points should be 2 facts about what is parasitism, what is commensalism. Okay? Your third fact, they give you an example. So I want you to explain that example on your third point.
In the paper?
On paper in your designated box. Okay? I'm going to put 5 minutes on the clock now. Is there any questions? Alright? 5 minutes. This is individual.
Oh. Right in here.
So you were...
I would.
Yeah, guys, I will turn one light off because it is...
Yeah, there you
No,
go.
no, turn on this side.
Nah, the other
Yeah,
one
yeah.
was that.
One light. Okay, you guys are by the window, it's hot.
So weird.
And you're right. So you're making two, right? So you're going to catch it also continues on the next page for additional points. You just read it 2 points about what it is, and then explain the example they give. Yeah, so
Oh, those are the ones.
Are your hands cold?
oh yeah.
Still my work.
Like 2 facts about it, and then you're going to explain the example. So be able to explain it to somebody else. Good? You understand the example? Alright guys, so what I want you to do now, the notes that you took on your specific relationship, symbiotic relationship, you're going to now turn to the partner. So if you're number 1, turn to number 2. And I want you, just like Nello and Ricardo are doing, and I want you guys to exchange your information. I want you to discuss it with each other and jot notes down in the column that you did not, in the relationship that you did not do. Are there any questions? What's your question? All right, so I'm going to do 5 minutes. It should not take you that long.
We switching information?
You're going to switch information, but I want to hear you guys talking about it. So like you're saying, citizens and then discuss it. All right. Okay, so we are gonna go over it.
Exactly.
Myth. Yeah. How do you say that word? Isn't it parasitism? Wait, which one? The P word. Parasitism? What? Parasitism. That's not even a word. Where is it? So. That's not a word. Write that down. Two more minutes, guys.
Tell me something now, and let's do this thing. That's how we do it. Let's go.
Okay. Between what? Two organisms. Shark and the thing. Everything is like biological.
How? Okay. The word is
How are we doing? Not done. Not done? Alright, 1 more minute. Keep on. Huh? Eventually. How are you guys doing? Huh? guys done? That is your notes. Oh, you want your notes for today? Yes. So guys, make sure you have the information down on the sheet because this is your notes for this topic that you guys are coming up with.
Of the points.
Yeah. If you feel like you write the points that you are going to easily remember that relationship by.
Yeah. I mean, it's right there. Explain it then, because
You got 5.
you want me to be like, yeah,
Alright guys, let's go over these. Okay, so what I want you to write down is what you see. Okay, which you may write it in your notes or you may write it on the sheet wherever you are going to, where it's going to best benefit you. How symbiotic relationships, okay? So what symbiotic means is basically close ecological relationships that influence survival. So it's relationships between different organisms and different ecosystems that influence survival. So the example of the do now was the what? Shark and the little fish was called the remora. So that was mutualism. So that was an ecological relationship, a symbiotic relationship. So if I said, name the symbiotic relationships that you've learned about, what would you say?
Shark.
You wouldn't say shark. Okay, no. Name the symbiotic.
Mutualism.
Mutualism, parasitism, and commensalism. Okay, so if you see that, those are the types of symbiotic relationships. Commensalism. Tell me what commensalism is. Kenny.
A relationship between two organisms where one is receiving benefit for economical benefits and the other one does not, but is not harmful as well.
Right. So one benefits and the other is neither harmed or is it just not affected? Not right in a second. Okay, so what's an example? Deshanti.
The human eyelash and the demon insect.
Yes, the So who wanted to explain it? Chanel? Did you want to explain it? Okay, Ken?
No, this is dust mite.
Okay, so the dust mite. Oh, okay. Right, so they do eat the dead skin cells. So tell me the relationship of the eyelashes and the mite.
Because they're eating it, but they're not harming you.
Okay, so the eye mite.
Oh, I have a question.
Yes. Well, not yet. No, it's not like the shark relationship. Iris.
Would leeches and humans be an example?
Okay, it wouldn't be an example of commensalism. What would leeches be an example of?
Parasitism.
Parasitism. We will get to that. Okay, so hold on, I'll come back to you. So the mites in the eyelashes. Who is benefiting from this? Donna?
Both.
Okay, so they're sort of both, but do we have like oil secretions and dead skin cells the way it is? Right on our arms, on our legs, on every part of the body. What happens? How does it get off?
It either falls off or something eats it.
Falls off or something eats it, which is your eyelashes. So basically, who is really benefiting?
The dust mite.
The dust mites. Why? Or not the dust mites. I can't pronounce it. The huh? Yeah. Why are they benefiting, Naomi?
Because they're eating.
Exactly.
So wait, there's like little.
So the mites are the one benefiting because that's their food source.
You never knew that?
Okay, that's benefiting because of the food source.
You guys learned something new today.
All right. So there are mites. What did it say? There's like,
So we can't like kill them.
You can't kill them.
yeah, there's like 10 of them in like one follicle. We don't even know it's there. We don't even know that they're there. They're so tiny. They're doing their job. They're getting their food source. They are benefiting
Unless you cut
us.
your eyebrows off.
But we can survive without them, right? Because when you go in the shower, you exfoliate, you get the dead skin cells off anyway, you sweat, nothing's happening, right? You're not dying, right? They're just benefiting from that. So that's what commensalism is, okay? So,
No.
mutualism, you can remember it by, mutualistic relationship. It's a mutual understanding. Commensalism is kind of in the beginning, or in the middle, but parasitism is something that you can easily remember. All right, hold on, Kate.
Yeah.
Iris, tell me what your example was.
Leeches and humans.
Okay, so example.
When the leeches are exposed to they're exposed. They attach to the exposed skin,
Yes, yes,
and I guess it's onto and make up blood.
yes. So did anyone ever go into a stream or a lake and get a leech onto their like foot or leg or something?
No.
Yes.
Don't you
Yes.
ripped it off.
heat to get them all over?
I guess you could. Okay, so one time I did swim in a stream in like upstate New York when I was very young, and I came out with like this little like leech on the bottom of my foot, and I didn't really know what it was until my parents were like, "Oh my God, get it all." So what it is, it's a parasite. It's considered a parasite because, and you guys learned about this, it's a pathogen, right? It could be a pathogen, different types of worms in your body. But leeches, as one example, they latch onto the exposed skin and they start sucking the blood, and that is their what? Their food source. Their food source. So they're benefiting it, are they harming
Wait, what
us?
if you do have AIDS?
Huh?
What if you have AIDS?
like
Do they die?
Do leeches get AIDS? That's a good question. That is a good
Yeah,
question.
like what if you do have AIDS? Like what if you have like bad blood and like diseased blood? Do they
You
get
know,
disease?
if you do have a bad food source, what may happen to you?
They get disease too?
Well, I don't know if
Leeches can get AIDS?
No, do not quote me on that. But if you have a bad meal, you get sick from it. So maybe if you have bad blood, maybe it reacts bad with
But
that.
what if the leeches spread the AIDS?
But that is something good to look up on her
So wait,
own.
how do leeches harm us?
So leeches harm us because what if blood is being taken out of us? Right, so we're losing blood. They can introduce different bacteria into you. Right, so it's a parasite. What are other examples of parasites?
Hookworms.
Okay, I heard worms.
Hookworms.
Okay, hookworms. So different types of worms.
botfly?
Yes.
Yeah, they have those.
That's the ones that go in your head and eat your head.
Remember you guys watched it with,
That worm in your foot? What was that one?
I'm not sure exactly, but it's like, it's a,
ringworm.
okay, it could be, it could be.
Well, it was not.
I had ringworm, it wasn't ringworm.
No, it was that white one.
I was really
So basically what's happening is, remember the videos that you guys watch?
Hey!
Remember the videos you guys watch, like the worms?